Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Dylan Zachary and I'm a music enthusiast and graphic designer. So it's that time of the month again. It's my favorite time of the month, and that is the Monthly Album Redesign Series. So this month we got ourselves an awesome record that we're redesigning that isn't even out yet. And that album is Tame Impala's new album, Deadbeat, which comes out October 17th. It isn't even out yet, and I think that's the coolest part. So far we've done a bunch of albums from my record collection back there. We've done ones like Abbey Road and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers debut, but we've never done an unreleased album before. So here we go. We're going to get into this album redesign. Like I said, the album's not even out yet. Tame Impala's Deadbeat. So you're probably asking yourself, what's the Monthly Album Redesign Series? So the Monthly Album Redesign Series is where I take one record, like I have back here, and I grab a record from my collection, usually a legendary record, a classic, timeless record, and then we take that album cover and we redesign it into something completely different. And that's why the Monthly Album Redesign Series is really fun and my favorite time of the month, because it's really hard to take a legendary album and completely flip it on its head and do something totally different, because you know exactly what those records are and why they're so special and legendary, and then you have to take it and flip it and do something completely different. It's kind of like a nice brain teaser as a designer to take something so iconic and make it completely different and think outside the box. So that's why we love the Monthly Album Redesign Series. So we're redesigning Tame Impala's new album, Deadbeat. Tame Impala consists of Kevin Parker, the sole musician and creative force behind Tame Impala. He's released a bunch of great records like Currents, Lonerism, The Slow Rush, and Inner Speaker. He's an amazing producer and songwriter and creator of music. I'm super stoked about this new record that he has on the way called Deadbeat. And that's the album we're going to be redesigning today, so buckle your seatbelts and get ready. I think this album redesign is pretty dope, if I do say so myself. But before we get into the album redesign, I want to say thank you guys so much for checking out this video. It really means a lot to a small-time creator like myself. We're in it for the art, music, and the passion on all things creative, and I just thank you guys so much for checking out my video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. It helps out so much, and it motivates me to keep making videos for you guys to check out. I hope you guys enjoy this monthly album redesign. That being said, let's get into the new monthly album redesign series, Tame Impala's Deadbeat. First things first I want to address with this redesign is that I messed up my settings when I made the initial file, so we're only rocking at a 72 ppi, which is pixels per inch. Usually it'd be at 300 ppi, so the resolution is not that great on this piece, but I was already so in the thick of it when I realized this mess up. We just kind of ran with it. I just wanted to be transparent with that, and that these settings are currently messed up. I didn't have time to redesign it, and so we're going to be rocking at a 72 ppi, which kind of adds a distortion that I technically didn't want, but it makes it a little different and cool, so we're just gonna rock with it. Here is the monthly album redesign for this month, Tame Impala's Deadbeat. So the idea I had here, I had this idea in my mind. As you can see, I made a design like an audio waveform file or just a clip from, say, Logic, Pro Tools, or even like something like Adobe Premiere. I didn't want any registration of a waveform on this clip. I wanted it to resemble no audio to emphasize the Deadbeat album name. I used that clip, I added Deadbeat to the corner, so normally when you name files on those audio programs, it'll come up in the corner right there and it'll say a name of that file. And then I just added 3 dots in the corner, because usually you can mess with the mix of that actual clip or waveform. So we went from that clip, so I added the Helvetica typeface. That's what it is, straight Helvetica typeface. That's the kind of typeface that he's using on his whole run out with this album, and I wanted to stick to kind of what he's doing with the album, but just kind of make it my own and make it a little bit different. So we kept a typical Helvetica typeface, and obviously it's very distorted because of the 72 ppi. Kind of adds to it, makes it more pixelated looking. It's kind of cool, makes it almost like 8-bit like. I added my go-to vinyl textures to make it look authentic and vintage, because I love that vintage rustic look. Dropped it over top, laid it underneath on a white background, and I put one over top of it just to kind of change up the gradient of it, if you will. Makes it a little more gray and washed out looking, and we just kind of distorted it. I think I added just a little slight Gaussian blur on there too, just to tone it down just a little bit, but it's still very rugged, very rustic looking. And then we added this little Deadbeat sticker up at the top where it says Deadbeat featuring hit songs End of the Summer and Loser. And I chopped up the End of the Summer because you got this little crinkle effect right here. I wanted that to really be a focal point, because hype stickers are a huge part of vinyl records in my personal opinion. I love keeping hype stickers if I can, so I wanted to add my own hype sticker to this. And then we added the Columbia logo over here at the top left-hand corner, because he's on Columbia and the album will be releasing on Columbia, so I wanted to stay true to that. We're sticking to the original orange, black, and white scheme of the album cover. That's exactly the run out of this album, is an orange, black, and white scheme, so we wanted to stick with that. and just make it our own. That is the front album cover of the Tame Impala redesign. So let's get into the back now, shall we? Here we are on the back part of the album, and this I really didn't have an idea for. I just kind of was free-flowing on it, kind of like how I did on the last album redesign of Abbey Road. I just opened up a new file and I straight just went into it. I had this idea having smashed instruments on the back album cover, obviously to emphasize on the album title being Deadbeat. A lot of people have speculated on this album run out for Tame Impala's new album, Deadbeat, that Kevin Parker's kind of talking about being a deadbeat father because him and his kid are on the album cover. He did debunk this in one of his interviews that I watched. I can't remember which one it was, maybe Apple Music interview or just another radio show, that wasn't true. So that's why I really wanted to get away from his original album cover of him and his child on the cover and just kind of strictly focus it onto the music side of things. So that's what we did here. I sourced images on the internet of broken instruments. I threw some textures on top of them. I changed the coloring of them. I gave them a hard mix so they look really gritty. We got this piano image here, which is extremely distorted. I did that on purpose. And also with the 72 PPI, that doesn't help. I think it looks really cool because it's extremely distorted. It kind of gives me like an 80s vibe too. I know Kevin Parker uses pianos all the time. He uses synths, all kinds of different beat pads. I tried to find an image of a destroyed beat pad and I could not find one for the life of me. Anyway, so we got this synth piano here that's destroyed, and I got this drum kit that I found that was destroyed. I love that the cymbal was through the drum head itself. It just kind of reminded me of some old school rock and roll, like, you know, throw TV out the window kind of vibe, like the Who back in the 60s where Keith Moon blew up his drum kit. That's what this reminded me of. It just reminded me of some straight rock and roll debauchery. I wanted to add that to emphasize the deadbeat effect. We got this rounded out holographic deadbeat design here where I just used this type and just went into a circle, kind of just overlapped all the D's, and then we gave this little orange pop tie in with the orange You're Lost and then the orange instruments. Not give it too much color, but just enough to give it that emphasized look to it. Yeah, so we put the track listing up here, trying to kind of go with that punk vibe still, and that's why it's all like skewed to the left there. It's the differences in everything, in my opinion. So it's like with the Deadbeat, it's all capital letters. The Tame Impala, it's all capital letters, and then it's got the 1 through 12, and then everything's just regular capitalizations and everything with the quotes, and then the track listing small. It's all the different pieces that kind of make it this cohesive piece, in my opinion. It's just, it kind of flows really nicely, even though it's all jarring to the eye because it's all different. There's nothing that's really truly the same when it comes to all the type. And we just flip-flop the texture of the record grid from left to right, so it's kind of opposite here, and then you can see the distressing on the sides that kind of match up to the front. And yeah, that's basically it. We just kind of ran with it from there. Back cover, I had initially had nothing in mind, and I just kind of ran with it. I knew I wanted to add that deadbeat aspect with the musical side of it, so we just ran with it, and I think it turned out great. For some reason, I feel like my back covers have been turning out way better than my front covers, but the front cover is what initially gets the ball rolling, so I just kind of go with it, and that's what happened. So yeah, that's the album redesign. Tame Impala's Deadbeat coming out October 17th. Like I said, this has no affiliation with Tame Impala whatsoever. I just wanted to do this because it's the first time I've designed something that isn't out yet. So I wanted to redesign an album that wasn't out yet, and Tame Impala is one of my favorite artists. I've got to see Tame Impala live twice now. Both times were absolutely awesome during the Slow Rush tour, and right before he came out with the Slow Rush, he just dropped the song Patience at the time. And I'm telling you, if you've never been to a Tame Impala concert, I highly recommend going to a Tame Impala concert because Kevin Parker puts on an amazing concert. Super stoked about this new album that's about to come out. Go check out Tame Impala. If you've never heard or listened or seen Tame Impala, go check them out. Let me know what you guys think about this design. Do you like this design, or do you like the original album design that's attached to the record? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Thank you so much for checking out the video. We have videos every single Wednesday at 11 a.m., so make sure you come back and tune in. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what's up. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.